Samuel L. Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Motherfucker. Actor whose movies have made more money than any actor.
I don't want to be broke again.
Chattanooga, birthplace.
No.
No?
Chattanooga is where I grew up. I was born in Washington.
In Washington, D.C.?
Yes, and I moved to Chattanooga as an infant to live with my grandparents and my mom. Growing up for me was kind of fun because I had my grandparents. My mom was actually in D.C. working, so I was with my grandmother, my grandfather, and my aunt, Edna, who was a school teacher, a fourth grade teacher who was also a performing arts teacher. She was just making me do stuff. One of the things she made me do was read, so she took me to school with her. When I was 2, I sat in the back of her room, but she taught fourth grade.
Right.
So when a kid couldn't answer a question in her class, she would go, Sam? And I would answer the question, and then I'd have to fight all lunchtime. Because all those fourth graders would be, oh, you think you're smart. She loved movies. She always went to the movies. She took me to the movies. And that was one of the places that I could always leave on Saturday and say I was going. That was fine for me to go and stay all day. And I think my most vivid image of that time was Edge of the City.
Go with a man and you're 10 feet tall. You go with the lower forms and you are down in the slime.
What were you like as a child?
I was a stutterer when I was a kid. I used to get stuck on a certain, syllable or plosive and be like, so.
Did you still have days when you're on set where you're?
Oh yeah. I have days where, some days it's B, some days it's P, some days it's G.
And how did you then overcome that?
I actually started to pretend to be people who didn't stutter when I was very young so that I wouldn't stutter.
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English in what?
What?
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Yeah.
So you understand the words I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
I might have adapted that character for my life. Yeah, who knows?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
And I never went to school with a white kid. I never had a white teacher until I got to college. So my whole existence was in this black cocoon that taught me how to live in a world outside of my own environment. A good value system, a set of parents that tells you right from wrong, you understanding right from wrong, having a spiritual connection to your fellow man and the world, lets you know what's right and what's wrong.
Cause I don't mean nigga in a disrespectful way. I mean it as a general term for ignorant motherfucker.
When you say those lines, in any way are you not acting? In any way do these lines touch something deep inside you?
Well, I'm a product of segregation. I actually grew up during segregation in the South in Tennessee. So when I went to work with my grandfather, he also cleaned offices in the late afternoon. One office in particular was a real estate office. Sometimes there would be a guy there and they would talk to me. And I would look him in the eye and talk. And my grandfather would just be shaking, like, oh my God, because I'd ask them questions and they were like, boy, this boy's smart, Ed. Now my grandfather was like almost 70, and there's a 20-year-old kid talking to my grandfather like he was, he'd call him boy and other things. And I would kind of observe that, and he was just Ed, and my grandfather was like, yes, sir, Mr. Son, and I'd be like, something wrong with this dynamic.
This has reached epidemic proportions.
It is a crack epidemic, which police say is causing an increase in murder and other violent crime.
This was the period of your life when you were enjoying most of what the planet has to offer in terms of recreational pursuits.
I'm a junkie.
You were high as a kite, am I right?
Totally. When I first started to do theater, I had this very interesting drama coach who said to us that if you're going to learn to do it, you learn to do it the way the great ones do it, the way, Richard Harris and
Richard Burton, those guys.
Well, Burton, the guys who were toasted while they did it. So
Oliver Reed?
Oliver Reed, my hero. When people ask me to speak to people about my drug experience or about, what all that was, it's hard for me because I had a great time. And it wasn't until I got clean that I started to connect emotionally to the role. And amazingly enough, the first role that I ever did substance-free was Jungle Fever.
Oh, when Spike called me about Jungle Fever, I was in rehab. So he was telling me, yeah, I want you to play like the Marvin Gaye character, you know, he's a drug addict, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I've done the research, so I'm ready.
I pray for you, my son. Father, I stretch my hands to thee.
Do it. Yeah, you know I'll do it. In order for me to get it right, I need money.
I don't want to be broke again. Be broke again. Be broke again. Be broke again.
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That is Samuel L. Jackson playing Jules Winfield alongside John Travolta's Vincent Vega in the iconic 1994 Quentin Tarantino film, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction is an anomaly of sorts. I doubt if anybody will duplicate it or people will find a way to make a film that even resonates in the public's consciousness the way that film does. Quentin did something that was totally unique even to himself.
Not only style, but language.
Oh yeah, it was everything. There are so many elements there in your face and so many different...
What did you say in Pulp Fiction? A dog can be charmed. What was that line?
Pigs can be charmed. You know,
Dogs got personality. Personality goes a long way.
So by that rationale, if a pig had a better personality, he would cease to be a filthy animal. Is that true?
Well, we have to be talking about one charming motherfucking pig.
Pulp Fiction earned Jackson an Oscar nomination. And the next year, Die Hard with a Vengeance made him a box office star.
When I was doing Die Hard, Pulp Fiction came out.
So Bruce and I go to Cannes to watch Pulp Fiction, and Pulp Fiction wins. Bruce is like, yeah, the movie's
good, but this movie is gonna make you a star. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said Die Hard's gonna be the highest grossing movie in the world next year.
Okay, Zeus, I'm sorry you got involved. Why you keep calling me Jesus? I look Puerto Rican to you. Guy back there called you Jesus. He didn't say Jesus, he said, hey, Zeus. My name is Zeus. Zeus? Yeah, Zeus. As in father of Apollo, Mount Olympus. Don't fuck with me or I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus! You got a problem with that?
And it was. And we did this thing we're doing now. We did this tour. And all of a sudden, people in all kinds of countries knew who I was that didn't know who I was before.
And you know, that's one thing Hollywood seems to have lost now. They make these huge, great movies with all state-of-the-art special effects, but they forget about character, they forget about charm.
For those of us that maybe first really noticed you in Jungle Fever, there was that ragged edge of rage in you that almost was serving notice to us viewers.
I really hate having to resort to knocking elderly people in the head for their money. But I'll do it. I'll do it.
I don't know. I guess I carry that around with me. That's you know, part of my 60s militant kind of attitude. That's still a part of me. That's kind of my New York. I'm walking the streets and I have something. I don't want to be robbed, so let me look like a mother rather than a muggy.
You attack the character by creating what? A biography in your head.
Yes.
What's that?
Well, a lot of times I try to figure out where he was born, what his educational background is, what he's done in his life up to that point, the kinds of foods that he likes, why he has the relationships with certain kinds of people. Do what I like to do with characters now, and that's give them real human qualities that people can sit and look at and relate to in a very real kind of way and say, I know that guy.
Holy fuck! Now I have officially seen it all.